Hi, I'm Kris with Georgetown University Outdoor Education. Outdoor Ed is excited to be sharing a series of educational and skills-based videos this semester to the Georgetown community. Today I want to talk about four things. First, I want to talk about why it's important for all of us to allocate time in our busy weekly schedule to getting outside. Secondly, I want to give us some resources to do so responsibly, to recreate in a positive way. Third, we know that oftentimes people just don't know where to go. So I want to talk about some ways that you can find local areas to go experience the outdoors. And finally, I want to talk about some best practices for when you actually do get out into the woods or into nature. So students who participate in outdoor ed programs report when they come back to campus, they feel relaxed, they feel rejuvenated, they're ready for the week ahead on the hilltop. Research is backing this up. A study from Cornell University found that participants who spent as little as 10 to 20 minutes in a natural setting had lower cortisol levels, their blood pressure decreased, and their pulse rates decreased after those outdoor experiences. The journal Nature was interested in examining if there was an effective minimum dose. How much time do we have to spend in totality over the course of a week to receive those benefits? They found the answer to that question to be 120 minutes or 2 hours. In a world in which we're dominated by COVID, we're sitting behind a computer, Zoom fatigue is real, we're probably somewhere where we didn't anticipate being this fall semester. There's a 24-hour news cycle that's grabbing our attention. We could all use the benefits of being outdoors. Once we've made that decision, how do we do it responsibly? Even though we know that transmission of the virus is most prevalent in indoor crowded spaces, when we go outside, we still need to be cognizant of that. So Recreate Responsibly has brought up several points that I want to share with you today. First, know before you go. Make sure that the park or the trail you want to hike or visit is actually open. If you get there and it's crowded, have a backup plan. Go somewhere else. We also want to practice physical distancing. We want to travel in small groups. We want to have a face mask for when social distancing is not possible. And of course, if you're feeling sick or under the weather, please sit this one out. Plan ahead. We know that a lot of resources that are normally open might not be open. The visitor center you were counting on grabbing a map at might be closed. The restaurant where you're planning on grabbing lunch after your hike, again, might be closed. So pack a lunch, pack your map, be ready before you go. Play it safe. Obviously getting hurt or lost in the woods is something we never want to do. But right now, anything that diverts resources away from where they're most needed is not the right choice. So play it safe when you're out there in the woods. Explore locally. COVID has impacted our country in different regions at different levels. So stay where you're at a little bit. Explore locally. Know the impact of the communities that you're visiting. Leave no trace. We'll cover a whole video on this a little bit later, but basically you want to leave a place better than you found it. And finally, let's work on building inclusive outdoor environments. As I mentioned, all of us need outdoor experiences right now for our health. Let's make sure that we're being inviting and welcoming to everyone. Where should I go? This is a great question. Again, stay local as best you can. Maybe your local county, township, etc. has a webpage that highlights all your local hikes. Maybe there's a green space down the block, small little park you've never been to before. Pack your lunch, walk down there, sit on the bench, enjoy it, sit outside. Become a birder, pull out those binoculars. Maybe you want to start a nature journal. The point here is being outdoors doesn't mean hiking, doesn't mean mountain biking, doesn't mean rock climbing. It means whatever it is to you. Just find a green space, get outside and enjoy it in whatever context is appropriate for you. When Outdoor Ed is planning local hikes, a webpage we like to use is Hiking Upward. It's focused on the larger DMV area. It has some really popular hikes and some that are a little bit off the beaten track. So if you're in our area right now, take a look at Hiking Upward. Not in that area, a webpage I would recommend you look at is All Trails. Pretty good about typing in any city across the country and finding hikes in your immediate vicinity. Finally, always have a map, or our cell phones these days are great GPS units. So a program like Gaia GPS that you can download onto your phone and have easily access maps is something I would definitely encourage you to find out to support your local travels. So you've made the decision, you're actually physically at the trail. What are some best practices? Well, first I'd encourage you to figure out how long your hike's going to actually take. In the Backpacker's Field Manual, written by Rick Curtis from Princeton University, he suggests allocating 1 hour of travel time per 2 miles. We also know that as you're walking along, it seems like you're always walking uphill, right? So for every 1,000 feet of elevation, you want to be adding an hour to your travel time. And finally, we know that you're not going to be walking the entire hour. You're probably going to need to take a break, eat some gorp, take some pictures, drink some water, etc. So for every hour of walking, add like 5 minutes or so for kind of downtime break time. So let me give you an example. Say we have a 4-mile hike with about 500 feet of elevation. We know in that situation, we've got 2 hours of straight hiking time. We've got about 30 minutes based on our 500 feet of elevation gain. And we probably want to allocate 10 to 15 minutes there for a break. So that hike of 4 miles with 500 feet of elevation gain, probably going to take you 2 hours and 40 minutes. Obviously, this is a starting point. You might be a quicker hiker, you might be a slower hiker, but at least you'll have a good starting point. Finally, I want to talk about what you have in your pack, right? When you're going down the trail, you want to have resources with you. Obviously, food and water should be with you on any outdoor excursion that you have. You also want to have the appropriate clothing for the conditions that you find yourself. We'll do a whole video on the 10 essentials, and we'll share that later this semester. Finally, let someone know where you're going. Tell your friends, tell mom, dad, etc. Hey, I'm going to Old Rag. I should be back by 6 p.m. tonight. That way, they'll know when to expect you. So that's what I wanted to share today. Why you should go outside, how you can go outside responsibly, where you should go, and once you get on the trail, what are some best practices there. We hope to see you on some other outdoor ed videos. I will link kind of information and resources that I mentioned to the description here. And finally, Outdoor Ed has started a virtual hiking group on Strava, so please feel free to join us, and we'll see you on the trail. Thanks a lot. Bye.